Progress.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We are starting our Money Mondays. Every Monday, we will be talking about a different financial topic. I'm glad you could join us this evening. And our first workshop will be about banking basics. And I'm going to share my screen, so I will turn off my video for part of the presentation, and then I will go ahead and show the video of my face at the end of the workshop. So let me just pull up the presentation for you guys. It's going to take 1 second. I apologize. So I wanted to thank everyone for joining, and I hope everyone's having a good evening. I did want to mention that we are in tax season for April, so I do want to let you know that the deadline is coming up April 15th, and if you need help with your taxes, we have some wonderful resources from the city that I will be sharing at the end of the workshop. We also have a survey. It's 6 questions, so I'm hoping that you guys will have the time to give us some feedback and let us know if there's something we can improve, and also if there's something that you would like to see more of or learn more of. That survey is a wonderful resource for you to let us know what we can do to help you and to better improve like our workshops. So I hope you can fill it out. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to start presentation. Oops. Let me just. Just take 1 second. I apologize. Oh, I can't reach this one. Okay, there we go. It's kind of stuck a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so that you guys can see the whole slide and the information. And if you have any issues, please just let me know through the chats. Okay, so it seems that this is slower. Okay, here we go. So my name is Claudia Carrera, and I am the Economic Empowerment Manager at the Hispanic Federation. Before we start, I would like to ask if everyone can please mute your microphone. And then again, if you have any questions, please submit them through the Q&A. And use chat if you have any comments or things you'd like to share. I will definitely be checking them along with my supervisor, Vivi Acosta. She is also on. And I would like to let everyone know that this webinar is also being recorded. Okay, so the goals for today's workshop. The first one is to learn about the most common financial institutions. The second one is to learn about bank accounts and resources such as debit cards and ATMs. And our third goal is to learn important financial terms and concepts. So what are financial institutions? A financial institution is a company that is in the business of providing you with services and products to help you manage your money better. And they offer different types of accounts, loans, or investments. There are three things to keep in mind when you're at a financial institution. First things first, always ask questions. If you are confused or if you don't know anything, the representatives there are available to help you. That's their job. So please, I know some people are intimidated when they first go in, they're a little scared, but it's very important for you to ask the questions and get the answers that you need so that you're not confused. And again, that is their job to help you. So ask away. The second thing is never sign any documents that you don't understand. So always take your time to read through things. Don't feel pressured to sign anything. Sometimes there's a lot of information and packets that they give you at the time, and it's very important for you to take the time to read it. So it's okay to tell someone, you know, I just need to go through this. I want to make sure I understand it fully, and you know, I can come back and sit with you again and go through it. So take your time and never sign something that you don't understand, because again, that can cause issues later down the line that you didn't plan for. The third thing is always ask for written information. Always ask for copies of any documents that they give you or that you sign. And like I said before, definitely take the time to review it at a leisurely pace, calmly, and that you feel comfortable with what you're reading and learning. So why use a financial institution? Well, the first thing is security. So bank accounts are safe. Your money will be protected from theft and fires, as opposed to if it was at home, you know, you have somewhere where you can securely save it and keep it. Your money is federally insured. So if your bank or credit union closes, you will get your money back, which is a great thing because you worked very hard for that money. Two is convenience. If you have a checking account, you can easily pay by check or through online bill pay with a debit card. It's cheaper than buying a money order. And the nice thing is that you'll have proof of bank statements and bills that you've paid. If you have any issues and you need proof of something, they are there in your bank statement. The third thing is it helps save you money. Many banks offer an interest rate. When you put your money in a savings account, the interest will help your money grow over time. And if you have a checking or a savings account with the same institution, you can have your money transferred periodically from checking to savings. Putting money aside automatically helps you, grow your savings and kind of plan out things that maybe you're saving for. So like a car or house or things, it's nice to have that separate. The fourth thing is the financial future. In the long run, using a financial institution to manage your money will help you achieve a good financial future. Because of the services that they offer, some of these services are free or low at cost. The money that you save, however small it is, you can add it to your savings or use it in a way that benefits you. So for example, you can pay your bills, cash checks, or transfer wire money without having to go to a check cashing place or money transfer company. They usually tend to charge you really high fees, and they can be more expensive. So with your financial institution, you have access to their ATMs, very common around here. So I will address ATMs more later down the presentation. So what are the different types of financial institutions? There are many, but the most common is banks. It's a profit private institution that provides services to manage money such as deposits, investments, or loans. So when you open an account or conduct a business at a bank, you are a client of theirs. The second institution is credit unions. They are not-for-profit institution that provides services for money management. Their mission statement is to economically empower the communities they serve. So they're all about the community. When you conduct business at a credit union, you are a member of theirs. Members all have something in common depending on the credit union. So it could be that they all work in the same industry or live in the same neighborhood. So credit unions kind of have more of that community pull and feel. The third thing is savings institutions. So these are banks that serve a local community. They take the deposits of local residents and then lend the money back in the form of consumer loans, mortgages, and small business loans. Usually, these are insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, so they are protected. So savings accounts. These accounts you can open in a financial institution to set money aside safely, kind of like what I mentioned before. It's important to note that with savings account, the total number of withdrawals may be limited. So depending on the bank, not all of them have this. If you deposit your money, they might, limit the amount of money you can take out per month. So it might be 5 to 10. Again, that's why it's very important to read through their paperwork that they give you and ask these questions so that you know kind of if this bank, savings account or the bank that you're working with is right for you. The third thing is that some of these savings accounts earn interest while you're putting money in their saving, they do have, they accrue a certain amount of interest. And again, that mainly depends on the bank account and how much interest the savings account do accrue. So there are different types of savings accounts. The first one is a regular savings account. With this account, you're allowed to put money in a deposit or take money out, a withdrawal. To keep your account open, the bank may require you to keep a certain amount of money in the account at all times. This is called a minimum balance. As I said, they will also maybe limit the number of times you can withdraw money each month. Very important to know that beforehand. And then also the bank pays a percentage of the balance of your account. This is the interest that accrues. The percentage depends again on the bank and the type of account. The second one is money market account. Much like a regular savings account, a money market account also pays interest. It may require a higher minimum balance, but it does offer 2 extra advantages. The first one is you receive checks that you can use to make withdrawals. There are still restrictions on the amount of times you can make a withdrawal every month, but being able to write checks is very convenient. And second is that these accounts generally have higher interest rates than regular savings accounts. Third type of savings account is the certificate of deposit, which you will usually see as a CD. The certificate of deposits require you to keep your money in an account for a fixed period of time. So sometimes it can be a few months to 5 years to 10 years. Again, it just depends on your goals and what you're trying to save for. And again, that's really important to talk one-on-one with a bank representative to help you kind of figure that out. The only thing to keep in mind with a CD, one of its limitations is that if you withdraw your money before the end of the term, so if you have a CD for the amount of like 5 years and you decide to withdraw that money at 4 years, there could be a penalty that you would pay. And that's something very important, again, to discuss with your financial institution to see how much that is. And again, that's different for every bank. So checking accounts, what are they? They are an excellent tool for managing your day-to-day money. It's very important to shop around and compare offers. So all banks are different and financial institutions all offer different things. But some of that, like we kind of discussed before, some of the advantages of a checking account is safety. So it keeps your money safe. In case of any mistakes or frauds, the bank insures your money. If you lose cash, it's lost, but at least with money in a bank account or savings account and a checking account, you do have kind of that paper trail, and you do have that backing from the bank. You can also use direct deposit to send income directly to your account and avoid paying fees at check cashing places. Like we said before, sometimes they will charge a lot for something that your bank can do at a very free or low cost. So the other thing is it's easy and convenient. You can deposit and withdraw cash easily. Paying bills or making purchases is very convenient. It helps you avoid carrying large amounts of cash. Using your debit card helps you keep track of spending. And the bank will provide a monthly statement with a history of all transaction within the month. So again, that's a nice paper trail to have, something that you can reference, something that also helps you kind of budget. And again, depending on the bank, these checks may be free or low cost. Okay, so what is a check? Checks are paper forms that people use to transfer money from one place to another. A check is a written order that instructs a bank to pay a specific amount of money from a specific checking account to a specific person or entity. Okay, skip ahead. So how do you get the checks? Your financial institution will normally provide you with checks when you open a checking account. You can order more if you run out, and again, they may charge like a small fee. It's nice now that you can call them or even go online and reorder them through your checking account. And then each time you write a check, you also have a record of how much you spent and where, which is very important. That can help you pay closer attention to what you're buying or how much you're spending and help you avoid spending more than you planned. So I'm going to take a minute. This is going to be a lot of information, but it's important in case you've never written a check. I'm going to go through the different parts of what a check is. Okay, so let me just use my pointer. So here you would have the personal information. This section provides details about the account owner and who's paying the money with the name and address. The payee line designates who can receive the money. Only the person that is on the payee line will receive, will be allowed to deposit cash or endorse this check. The dollar box displays the value of the check in numerical form. And then the amount of your check is written out. So it will be written out like on this check, it says 46 and 73 cents. The memo line is a space for any notes, that helps you keep track of where you spent it and why. So this is just a description for personal record keeping. It's important. The date line obviously keeps track of the timestamp for the check. If you want to delay the transaction, you can write a future date and notify the bank. You can't simply post-date checks and expect the bank to delay the transaction, so it's very important to communicate that if that's what you plan on doing. Banks generally have no obligation to adhere to the date written on the check unless you explicitly notify them beforehand. The signature line is for you to sign, verifies that the account owner has approved the payment. This is a security feature, which is very valuable, and the signature can be compared to the account holder's signature on file. Signing is the last step of writing a check, and it should only be completed after double checking all other sections of the check. If you sign an otherwise blank check and lose track of it, whoever finds it can put whatever they want in those empty spaces. So never sign a blank check unless it's absolutely necessary, and make sure that that you do sign it when you have completed all the different sections of the form of the check. Usually the bank will have their own logo and their contact information as well. And at the bottom, you will see these numbers. I'm trying to find my pointer. So here is the routing number. And the routing number tells banks where to find the funds for the check. With that number, other banks can get in touch with your bank and collect funds from your account when you write a check. Your account number at your bank is another identifier. So this is here. And it also lets them know where the money from the check will come from. A good way to find your account number is to look at the square symbol. I think it's like usually there'll be like a little indent here. Your account number appears just before this. Oh, and one last thing I want to point out is the checking number. So that also lets you keep track of how many checks you've written and how many you have. And it's also a security measure to identify each payment and help you prevent fraud. Okay, so another benefit of having an account, checking account, or even a savings account is having a debit card. And I'm going to kind of break down different parts of a debit card. Maybe you've seen them, maybe you've used them. But for those who kind of still are curious and are wondering how they work, I am going to go through the different parts. So the first one is bank branding. This identifies the institutions that have issued your card. Usually they can have smart chips. I know I still remember using debit cards when they didn't have this. And I know they're in the process of now, most debit cards will have this, the smart chips. So these are tiny metal processors that make your card more secure. It makes it harder for people to steal the numbers, the credit card numbers or debit card numbers. And your card, if it has a chip, you can insert that instead of swiping. And then the card number, most important part of the card, because it identifies your account with the card issuer. And those are the digits you need to provide when making purchases online or by phone. It's typically 16 digits, though some cards will use as little as 14 or as many as 19. So it's very important to keep this in a safe space, private, because it's very valuable information. Most debit cards will have an expiration date, and the bank will usually notify you when it's time to renew it. They will automatically send one. If not, you could always call them, and also if you're comfortable being online, that you can also order it through there. And then it will have your name or the cardholder name, and this is the person who is authorized to use the card. Some places will ask for ID. That's an extra security measure. So that's an identification to make sure that this is your card before they use it. So that's something to keep in mind. And then again, the most important thing is to also know when you're making payments online, the payment network logo. So that usually, you might have seen this again, they have different logos like MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express. This logo helps you know which vendors accept which cards. And then usually merchants will be good at displaying stickers near registers telling you which one they accept. So pretty good to be mindful. And then the back part of the debit card, we have this magnetic strip. The magnetic strip, it's like a black strip, and it contains the information about you and your card. This is what gets read when you swipe in a card in the store and you're making your purchases. Sometimes they do tend to wear down. They can be damaged if they're left outside or you accidentally step on it or even get it wet. So it's important to keep it in a safe space. Again, you can always order a replacement card from the bank if it stops working, because that does tend to happen. So the hologram, some cards may have this kind of, it looks like a mirror, like you're showing a 3-dimensional image. These are also security features. It just helps identify the validity of the card because holograms are actually very difficult to fake. And they can be placed on the back or the front. It just depends again on the institution. Here, usually, this will be for your signature. So it says Maria Suarez. That's where you would sign. And then you would have this extra security code. It can be 3 or 4 digits depending on the card that you have. And again, it just helps legitimize the card, especially for online or phone payments. And most likely they will have a form of contact. So the bank will have their number or their website that you can visit and chat, or if you feel more comfortable calling them, that's there as well. So you can double check anything that you're curious about, or if you see suspicious activity on your card, or sometimes, it's important to have the contact information to be able to call and verify what's going on. And then lastly is the network logo. Again, your card may have additional logos. These help you figure out which ATMs you can use for free. If you belong to a credit union, you may be able to use thousands of credit union branches worldwide, which is a great benefit. So banks usually offer ATMs, or other financial institutions do as well. And what are ATMs? They are specialized computers used by bank customers to manage their money. Almost all ATMs allow you to withdraw money, and many allow you to make deposits, which are a great convenience if you're in a rush. Some may even help you, print out the statements, check your account balances, transfer money between accounts, and maybe even purchase stamps. ATMs operated by your own bank will offer, the most services. And again, it's always depends on the bank, what services specifically does their ATMs provide. Why use them? ATMs are safe and convenient way to manage your money. There are millions worldwide, and you can use them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they also have a feature that you can, if English isn't your first language, you can also select the language of your preference, which is great. Usually, if you are, a bank member, there isn't a fee for you. Usually when banks charge a fee to use the ATM, it's because the person is not a member of their bank and does not have an account with them. And sometimes those fees are like $3 to $5, depending on where you are. So for example, I actually have a KeyBank account, and there is only one KeyBank account here in the city. So I am very careful of depositing cash when and where, because it's not too far from where I am here in the office. But again, if I need to withdraw cash quickly, I definitely don't want to use another ATM because they will charge me $5. So I make sure I have all the funds that I need before coming to the city. And then to operate an ATM, you can insert the ATM card or debit card and enter your personal identification number PIN. And the PIN is a secret password that you create. It can be a 4-digit. It's usually 4 digits. And then, you can select what you need from the ATM once your card is read and your PIN is accepted. It's very important never to share your PIN with anybody. Again, because they can access your funds and you don't want to kind of deal with that situation. So always keep it protected and keep it confidential. So here are some important terms that I kind of want to go through. And again, it's kind of part of the paperwork or the packet that a bank will give you when you first enter. The first one is overdraft. So, if you pay or write a check or use an ATM to withdraw more money than you have in your account, that's called an overdraft. And 2 things can happen when you do that. The bank may decline your purchase or your transaction. In case of a check, the bank may charge you a fee, and the business to whom you wrote the check to may also charge you a fee. So it's very important to make sure you are keeping track of your funds and where your payments or your shopping habits are going, because again, sometimes when you make a purchase, it might not show up right away in your statement or your online bank statement. So you do not want to kind of overdraft and get charged twice. I have seen, like, if you do multiple overdrafts, there may be the possibility that the bank may close your account. So it's very important to keep track of your balance. And the second thing is, if the bank approves the transaction and your account has overdrafted, usually they will charge you a fee. So these fees can range between $15 and $35. And they will continue to charge you until you pay that overdraft fee. So even if you overdraft by $1, they can still charge you $35. And then they will continue to charge you, they might wait like 2 to 5 days, depending on the bank, and then they will charge you another $35. So that $1 that maybe was late for like 2 days can probably can amount to like $70 if you're not careful. So it's very important to know your balance. I do know that sometimes if you have a good relationship with your bank, if you accidentally, because I know we're all human, so you can maybe sometimes make a mistake and miss your balance and maybe not be checking it all the time. But sometimes if it does happen and you have a good relationship with your bank, and you're generally responsible, you can call them for that one-time courtesy, and they usually will do it for, that one-time waive of that overdraft fee per year. So again, I don't recommend it because they may not, and you can also be charged a lot more than you would like to. So just keep track of your balances. So the second term is available balance. Again, like kind of we were talking about. So that's your bank's most recent calculation of the amount in your account based on the transactions they have processed. So you can think of it like funds available to withdraw or use right now. And sometimes you'll see an available balance that's less than your account balance. You can only spend your available balance in this case. And the rest of the money, would be held in your bank, but this generally happens for 2 reasons. If you've made deposits that haven't cleared and been credited to your account yet, or if there are pending withdrawals or authorizations against your account. So just be very mindful of what's available. And sometimes you will see at the top, usually online, they would have, what's pending. So if you have a pending charge, they may have not completely taken it out of your available balance. So be very mindful of how that works, again, because of the overdraft fees. Okay, so to endorse a check, it basically means signing the back of a check where that signature was and telling the bank what to do with that check. So there are several ways to endorse a check, and how you endorse it depends on what you want done with the money and how the check is filled out. First, a word about safety and fraud. Wait as long as possible to endorse a check, again, so that you don't risk, you might lose it or something, someone else might find it, and be very careful when you're signing the check. And then endorse a check at the bank before getting in line or during a mobile deposit to avoid all that. If you lose the check after you endorse it, again, you may run the risk of someone finding it, and you can call the bank right away and let them know so they can cancel that check, but it's better not to kind of run into that situation if you can hold off as long as you can, and then when you're ready to hand in the check, sign it then. And then usually you can, when you're letting them know what to do it, you can just put deposit only, or pay to the order of so-and-so for a mobile deposit. It's really important to develop, good financial habits. That takes time. It takes a lot of reflection about kind of your spending habits and kind of, your purchases. And again, it's very important to kind of be aware of those habits so that you avoid spending more than you have. And also it's important to review your statement every month. I know there are apps for everything now, so you can download, your app for your bank, and you can easily access that on your phone if you feel comfortable. You can also call them. You don't necessarily have to speak to a representative. It is automated so that you can just check your bank account on the phone. And again, by checking your statement, you can quickly report any irregularities that you see on your statements, which is very important to help you, catch fraud or suspicious activity. And then credit unions, like I said, they're a great resource because they are very community oriented. And I have two. So one is Juntos Avanzamos, and I have the link here that we can click on. And then My Credit Union helps you kind of This is a government website that helps you find a comprehensive list of all the credit unions that are near you, which is a great resource. And then, for our last kind of tidbit, I wanted to kind of leave you with kind of some self-reflection and thoughts about your banking and your habits. It's very important to stay informed and take control of your financial future. The more you learn, the less opportunities there'll be for missteps, simply because you are, aware of the resources available to you. And so, like it says right here, knowledge is power. And again, if you need help with that, like definitely ask the representatives at the bank. That's what they're there for. And, you can kind of, just ask them as many questions as you want, because the more that you know, the more informed and prepared you are, and the more able you are to advocate for yourself, which is very important. I wanted to thank you for joining our webinar today. Our next Money Monday will be April 12th at 6 p.m. and it'll be about savings, different ways and different forms of savings. And then also, I'm proud to work at the Hispanic Federation for all the services that they offer. And if you are interested, you can sign up for updates and stay connected with us. We have a whole bunch of different, departments like immigration or environment, civic engagement, and health. A lot of wonderful people that work here. So I hope you do sign up. And we also have our website, HispanicFederation.org. And then our help hotline. And then we also offer health insurance assistance. So the number here that you see for 1-833-656-2626. We do help people enroll in health insurance. So if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to email or call that number. And lastly, resources for taxes, again, because April is here and the deadline is the 15th of April. We have this great resource that the city kind of has. And again, if you earn $72,000 or less, you can file for free. And this right now, I don't think they have like a helpline, but you can visit their website and they have this great, different maps that you can find that are close to you if you want to do like tax prep, drop-off service. Strongly encourage you to kind of check this out and some valuable information. And then lastly, I would greatly encourage you to kind of take our survey. Let us know what you think about the workshop. Let us know if something, that you want us to cover in the future. That would be very valuable. Okay, so I just want to quickly check the chat. Before I sign off, see if anyone has any questions. Okay. Just give it like a sec. Let's see. Okay, so I hope you join us for the next workshop on Monday, the 12th, again, covering savings. And I thank you for joining us today. I am going to log off because I don't see any questions, but again, please fill out our survey and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great evening.